selection criteria.
I like your pick, KURA. I think we like it for different reasons.
It's a
You
squirrel.
know, yeah, I know it's a squirrel. Well, I think you like it because you think it's going to work. I like it because it's a cheap squirrel. It it was lots unlike a lot of them that tend to be overvalued and spend money like drunken sailors and frequently have a lot of debt. And it's kind of a photo finish to get over the cash hump before they get an approval or something gets going. Kura seems to be very much out of that mold. Yeah, it's a squirrel, but they've got a bunch of money, no debt, and I think the upcoming PDUFA date to me creates momentum, at least a high probability of momentum, and so when you've got a squeaky clean balance sheet, and I'm still kind of mystified at how badly the stock got beat up by doing the deal that they did. I mean, I
Well,
can
they
see
surrendered
where,
most of the rights, though. They have 50% of US, I believe.
yeah, I mean, I can see where investors are thinking they're going to go to the moon, and then all of a sudden they auction it off, and people get disappointed. But I mean, it went from like what 16 or 18 down to 5.5. That's a pretty big hit.
Yeah, we sold that one around, I want to say $10 or $11, and then re-entered around 6. And what's funny on that one is a friend of mine, a scientist, he contacted me about KURA maybe a year ago. They had a publication of data for their second drug, the wholly owned one, the farnesyl transferase inhibitor, that's showing that it could be used to in combination with targeted therapies that are blockbuster drugs like EGFR, crass, the crass players like
Yeah.
Revolution Medicines itself is a $7 billion company or something, but use this drug in combination to extend the durability and address drug resistance for these big targets. And when he mentioned that to me, I was like, well, that's interesting, but this one's still too much of a squirrel, as Tom calls them, for me, so I can't touch it. And then flash forward to today, and we were able to enter the stock at lows because they have a November PDUFA coming up. So if that gets approved, or not that one, but their first drugs, ziftomenib and AML, if that gets approved, they become commercial stays, as Tom calls them, sheep. Uh, and even though that launch, I wouldn't say I'm bearish on that launch. I just think that Syndax, our top holding, has such a lead there that it's going to be hard for KURA to catch up. But I do like that KURA's ziftomenib has a better safety profile, so that might be better for the first line combination studies. But then we got that nice call option that if their second drug, FTI, has promising data for these solid tumor combinations, then it's off to the races. So it's nice that we have multiple angles to upside here.
For me, it's more of a technical trade. I mean, I look at it and it's got a big knife cut that took it down from 16 to something like 11. I think that's when they announced the partnership deal and cashed out. And then it's frittered away on a few other ski slope bumps down the hill. It got down to 5. Now I think we're back up around 750 or so, seven and a quarter, somewhere in that range. But to me, it looks like there's another threshold around 850, and then I think probably the next bump up is into the $10 range. And I think it's a very high probability it's going to get to that 10, $11 range before
Mm.
December. I don't, I think it's going to need to get an approval to fill the gap back up to 15, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean, we'll see if it catches a tailwind, but from 5 to 11 in 4 months, that's a win,
Mhm.
and given the cash, I mean, back to my comments about trying to be unstupid, when it's got that much cash, it's not going to go anywhere. And the only thing I think right now that would be a huge speed bump is if the FDA comes out early and says there's something wrong with your data package and,
Mhm.
we're gonna,
Or manufacturing.
yeah, but I mean, I'll probably bail out on it by the end of October. And it'll be what it'll be, and I may miss the big run, but if I can ride it from 5 to 9 or 5 to 10, to me, that's a big win.
It's funny that we like it for different reasons, some the same, some different. I could always sell too if something looks, untoward to me, or I think they're going to have a complete response letter if something came up. But otherwise, when I enter each name, I'm looking multi-year time frame. So I'm looking at ziftomenib being approved in NPM1 AML, that launch taking place 2026 to 2027. During that time frame, looking at their first line studies in AML, enrolling patients and then reading out in 2027. And during that time, they'll have expansion studies for their second drug candidate in combination with solid tumor agents. The first one, I think it sounds like they've seen a signal with the cabozantinib combo. That's the drug from Exelixis, EXEL, that's done pretty well in kidney cancer. So they're going to open one or more expansion cohorts, and they're presenting that data in October. So I'm not expecting much from the data. It's early, but as those expansion cohorts, enroll and read out next couple of years, that'd be a reason to stay in the stock too.
I'll be watching.
How about